greatest form of control is where you think you're free when you're being fundamentally manipulated and dictated to. One form of dictatorship is being in a prison cell and you can see the bars and touch it. The other one is sitting in a prison cell but you can't see the bar, you think you're free. What the human race is suffering from is mass hypnosis. We are being hypnotized by people like this. Newsreaders, politicians, teachers, lecturers. We are in a country and in a world that is being run by unbelievably sick people. The chasm between what we're told is going on and what is really going on is absolutely enormous.
Hello, and thank you for joining in to another episode of the Red Pill Hardcore TV show. As always, I am your host, V. And I guess we're sort of having a little bit of a revamp here. The network, TLB TV, Liberty Beacon Television Network, awesome network, home of the Red Pill Hardcore TV show, and, well, our own new network we have started, Truthtainment TV Network, which is going to be based here on YouTube. So please view, like, and, YouTube and Facebook, all these things, these are NWO, evil corporations. So you're not going to know when we have an episode coming out of any of our shows because we're heavily censored. So be sure to click that subscribe button. And with that said, we'll go ahead and get started on the show. We have a very special episode. I want to say it's special because, well, I was able to talk about 5G, one of my favorite topics. I have to talk about that much. It's one of the greater threats to mankind that's rolling out against us by the establishment. And this was actually a scrapped interview because, well, my part of the video, my part of the interview was not recorded. Well, such a great interview. Decided to give it to you guys as a bonus episode anyways. So, please enjoy. Today, we're going to dive right into one of my new favorite topics here because this is something that we're all going to be dealing with because the purge is coming. What am I talking about? I'm talking about 5G technology. The purge is coming. And I have with me to discuss this issue, I have Bruce. Wait, why do you call yourself? I thought you were Bruce. Is it Christopher now? Which one is it?
Christopher is my first name. Bruce is my former last name. I am no longer Bruce. I am now the Livingman.
Okay. I have with... Okay, I have Christopher, the living man, with us. Please go ahead and tell my audience about yourself and your program that you have.
Yes, sir. That I had. I used to have a program. It was called America's Deadly Sins. I also write a blog called America's Deadly Sins. If you Google it, I come up with the first result. I've been involved in fighting the system for about 4 years now. I went from a totally sleeping sheep to a fully functioning living man in less than a year. And I learned enough to curl your hair twice, even if you didn't have any. So I'm just going to say that, a good kick in the shins by the system is enough to wake you up to some other things that are going on as well. Not only the thing that you were kicked about, that tends to wake you up to a few other things that are going on in the world. And all you got to really do is just look around, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Evil is everywhere, and it's impossible to ignore now. It's kind of like when you're start seeing ghosts and stuff, then you see them all the time because now you've attracted the energy, you've seen the other side, now they know that you know that they're there, and you start seeing them more often. Get me?
Now, you're the living man, not the straw man, right? I don't have the straw.
That's correct, sir. That is correct, sir. And believe me, if there was anybody you ever wanted to ask about how you can free yourself from your life of slavery and bondage, I'm one of the guys to talk to.
So you're talking about sovereign citizen law.
Well, and that really kind of gets my goat a little bit. They tried to lump me in with sovereign citizens. We are not sovereign citizens, my friend. We are sovereign people. We have always been sovereign people. We have been sovereign people since the dawn of man. The FBI tried to lump me in with sovereign citizens, saying that it's a faction of about 15,000 people or so. And I'm like, you guys are idiots. We were all sovereigns to begin with, and we are still sovereign now. And there's about, 300,000 or 300 million or so, or 30 million or so Native Americans that are all sovereign too. So, I think you guys are a little misinformed.
Absolutely. And your radio program, the focus of that radio program was 5G technology, was it not?
A good portion of it dealt with that, yes. And that was about the time that I discovered it. And I was just getting into the battle, just getting informed. I was just getting the information from the other side. And, I was given enough to start my war, and I started my war in my own home city. So that's where I'm at now.
So have you gotten any blowback because of this?
I've gotten quite a bit. I'm happy with my responses. The mayor is already getting a little bit nervous. I think he's starting to realize that he allowed something that was very dangerous into the city, and I think he's starting to get a little jumpy. I had a call from a detective today that thought that one of my emails to him was a little bit riding the line, and I said, I wasn't threatening the guy at all, but 67% of your intent is lost in translation when you're reading an email or looking at a text. You miss out on all the good stuff, inflection and tone and all that good stuff, and body language and such. So, he was pretty nice about it. I was really surprised because the last city I was in, they were pretty nasty about it when they called people up. So I was pretty happy with the conversation. It went well. He checked me out on Facebook before he called me, which I think helped a lot too.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't be surprised. I actually had a few city council members meet me in my old town, and it was very surprising. It's like this one lady, city council member, she was saying her son worked for the NSA, and she knew a lot about what I was talking about, and was very concerned with what I had to say, and she's like, I'll help you as much as I can, but this is a touchy issue, and
Well, there's going to be a lot of touchy issues coming up, and unfortunately, they're going to spur some cognitive dissonance, and there's not much we can do about that, my friend. We just got to keep plugging away and hope we reach the right ears.
So I've uncovered issues as far as the microwaves being used to basically spy on people in their homes, because millimeter wave technology in this area, for which they call this energy spectrum, they use millimeter wave technology to see through objects, see through walls, and so forth. The military and the police have range R technology. Your Homeland Security, DHS, FEMA, whatever you want to call them, whatever the names are these days, They have people with units that go around with these things, spying into people's homes. I mean, they have these drones now, the Wi-Fi that can see through homes. They have weaponized pretty much every spectrum to act as a X-ray or at least some sort of Doppler. And it's disgusting.
Now, here's the really scary thing, V, and a lot of people really don't understand this part of my presentation. A lot of times I have to slow down and tell them what I'm talking about. Our bodies function on numerous frequencies. Our organs, our brain functions, our system functions, our blood vessels, our cells, our very cells, all operate on certain frequencies, and more than one in some cases. And the people don't understand that when you're opening up the entire spectrum like this, you're opening up a big giant can of worms, because what you're talking about is the ability to stop bodily functions with certain frequencies. These are all, they can say, oh, well, we would never do anything like that, but then you got to remember, these are untested, unregulated frequencies. None of these things have been tested in a real market, okay? So yes, there are some people that have done some quick, testing to get out what they can about it in the little time that they're afforded, but essentially we're shooting in the dark here. And everything that happens, I've told you this, I think, once, 60 gigahertz, the new internet frequency, what they're planning to use for the internet, just happens to be the exact frequency that causes your water molecules to do a little jig. And in the process, also causes them to stop binding to oxygen. Hello, I think something's wrong here. I think we better stop and look at what this may do to us.
And for people watching, okay, microwaves. You put food in the microwave. Now let's say something like meat. Okay, the thing that cooks the microwaves is not necessarily the heat from the microwaves. The microwaves excite water molecules, bounce around, and it's the reaction from that. That's where the heat is generated. Now, also, people don't understand this either. When you cook food in the microwave, you also destroy the food. There's a such thing as called living food and dead food. And when you have living food, when you cook food like over a fire or something, the food stays intact. The molecular structure pretty much stays intact. Whenever you cook something in the microwave, the molecular structure of your food is destroyed. Proteins, nutrients, so forth. So you have dead food because you're not getting any life substance from that food. So they want to surround us with this same microwave technology.
Some people like to know that if they need something to compare it to, I always pull out the airport scanner comparison. Basically, when you go through an airport scanner, a lot of people are concerned about what this might do to your body or your health. And I'm like, okay, well, this is going to be like living in an airport scanner every minute of every day. You're going to be basically slow cooked from the inside.
And with the whole oxygen thing, guess what we need in order to think? So not just to breathe and all. You really need oxygen, a healthy level of oxygen.
That's what I've heard.
For optimal IQ. Now they're destroying the atmosphere with the chemtrails. I believe our atmosphere used to be 17% oxygen. Now it's at 11%. And so the population is systematically being dumbed down by, these sort of things, TV and
Oh, don't get me started on that, V. Don't get me started on that because I'll go all day long on that subject, okay? Coming down is the priority in this country. It has been for a long time.
What people follow what the Kardashians are doing, and this horrible what they call education system, which is really just an indoctrination system. The population systematically being dumbed down and not wanting to care. So it's sort of with this 5G. I kind of picture something like, it's hot outside. I don't want to do anything. I would like to go do this, and you step outside. Oh, it's hot outside. Oh, it's so hot I can't think. You ever have those days?
Oh yeah, 1 or 200.
Well, that's what I'm likening it to. And they're slowly crowding this prison matrix around us that's going to slowly entrap us and kill us. Oh
yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, V, but I've looked at it from all different angles. I've looked at, I've seen city councils just fold under the pressure. I mean, they don't even, they probably give them a $5,000 check and say, here, just shut up about it, will you? I mean, these people can't really be that asleep or be that stupid. I just can't even imagine that they could be. And when you're talking about when you're risking the lives of your own family, that's when you have to stop and take a pause and maybe do a little more research. This guy said, the mayor says he's done all the research on this, and he's come to the conclusion that because the FCC said so, these towers are safe and it shouldn't be any problem. We're going to just install them right in. And I'm like, you're an idiot then, because what you're telling me is I'm going to build a microwave around the city of Sioux Falls, and I'm going to turn on the on button, because basically that's what we're talking about here. The towers are going to be too close together. They're going to be ubiquitous. They're going to be inescapable, and the rays that are going to be going through the air at all times are going to be going by you and through you, regardless of whether you have a phone or not, whether you live in the Stone Age technologically or not, whether you have a computer or not. It doesn't matter. These things are going to affect you the same as they affect the person that's receiving and sending. And I just can't understand how anybody could read all the information I give them and they can still come back and go, oh no, I think they're safe. And the FCC said so. Well, okay, no, our government has never lied to us before, right? Yeah, okay, whatever, dude. This kind of reminds me of the Bayer Corporation and AIDS, okay? We all know where these things came from. They didn't come from any monkeys anywhere. They did, inadvertently they came from monkeys because they used baboon brains ground up into the medicine, and they had the AIDS virus. Yes, it did come from there, but it was Bayer and the FDA that gave us AIDS, folks. Hate to tell you, it's us. We did it to ourselves, okay? And when they couldn't sell it on our shelves, they took it and dumped it over in Spain and France to turn a profit out of a disaster. Now, I'm going to just tell you, it didn't come from Africa. It didn't come from Spain. It didn't come from homosexuals. It came from us. We gave us AIDS. Thank you. Anyway, have a nice day. Enjoy your life. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get off on that tack.
Well, as far as this 5G, you're talking about these towers. These towers are already up, but I've seen the 5G that they've already put around San Francisco. These things are on every light post, every stop sign, every power transformer.
And when the commercial on switch goes on, buddy, you're not going to want to be anywhere near the city. Oh my Lord, you're just going to want to get the hell away from there as fast as you can. I'm going to tell you, there's a group over in Britain. They've already turned on 5G over there, and they're loving their results. They've already had some stillbirths. The stillbirths rate has gone up sharp. A significant amount of people have had stillbirths. They've had animals and birds dying around these things. This has got to go. It's got to go, and it's got to go now. before they do finally turn on the on switch. And I always say, thank God the equipment is as yet non-active, because when it is active, you're gonna know it. You're gonna know it. Your entire environment will change instantly, and you will definitely know that it's been turned on.
Well, something I have also found in my research is that not only are they using this technology to watch you through your walls, but the 5G frequency has a particular ability, and that ability is to affect nano particulates, give instructions, so to speak. This is combining with the chemtrails to also interface with something else the 5G does, and that is to bind and manipulate proteins, protein molecules, not just the protein cells, or no, protein molecules. Now, you want to talk about transhuman. These people are they want to tailor make people. They want to say, oh, this person over here is way too smart. This person over here is way too independent. This person is a threat. Let's just mess with him a little bit, make him not a threat, or kill him off.
Let's tweak it. Well, yeah, let's tweak out some of that DNA. We'll just double strand break a couple of these over here, and we should have it going on. Yep, I know what you're saying. Oh, I just can't believe that people are this stupid. I can't believe that they're this asleep. I cannot believe that they're actually saying, oh, microwaves, bring that on in here. I don't care. What is wrong with people? Are we really that programmed? I cannot believe it.
Well, I want to talk about the implications even further. I mean, what else can you think of? I mean, I know.
Oh,
I can say.
I have sheets and sheets of things I've thought of already. Let's just talk for a minute about a casual side effect. Let's talk about the fact that they're talking about totally autonomizing everything in our country. Okay, so I'm thinking to myself, now what is white and blue collar America going to do with all this free time they've got now? Because essentially they've already replaced countless customer service jobs with algorithms and online help bots and all this other stuff. They've already replaced when they go to autonomous vehicles, you can pretty much drive right down the street and imagine all of these businesses won't even be there. I mean, think about all the stores and jobs that are affiliated with driving that will no longer be there. What are these people going to learn how to do? We're going to all learn how to be programmers of these new machines? Come on. I mean, I don't know if you've ever programmed a computer, but it's a big, and I want to tell you, you don't want to learn how to do it unless you've got something special going on in that brain of yours. And only maybe a tenth well, it's kind of like trying to be an accountant. Only a tenth of the world can be an accountant because it's the most boring job on the face of the planet. No, I'm sorry, there's one more that's more boring. I actually wrote government tech manuals. Oh my God, 15 pages on how to throw a grenade. I mean, come on, guys. This is not hard. You pull the pin, you throw the damn thing. But anyway, my point being is that, they have to dumb it down to the lowest level. But anyway, so what we're talking about here is completely autonomous everything. We're going to get rid of police officers. That's going to be handled by government. Government leaders, they've said even, may be replaced by machines. Oh, isn't that all wonderful? I think that's great. So what are we going to do? Sit around the house, drink Pepsi, and eat Doritos all day? Who's going to pay my rent? The government? I don't think so. I think we see how well that works now. But anyway, my point being is that all of these things are going to disappear if they autonomize everything. Yes, we've been talking about this for decades. We've been talking about it for decades. Machines are going to eventually take all our jobs away. Well, now they're putting it in high gear. They're going to, within a couple of years, they're talking about completely autonomizing. That's wonderful. Now, what are all those semi-drivers, taxi drivers, delivery drivers, all those people, what are they going to do now? That's where I want to go next.
Well, and to complement what you're saying, they already want to make sure that no one has any free time. The whole point of the 9 to 5 is basically for slavery. Wage slave, okay, you work your 9 to 5, you only have enough time to, drive home, go get food, maybe watch a couple hours TV, sleep, and then get up and do that 9 to 5 again. So if the 9 to 5 disappears, they have a lot of people, a lot of free time in their hands, and that's exactly the opposite of what they want. So that obviously means they're going to cull a lot of the population. They have already tested this stuff with these towers, cell phones. They don't care if they're giving us cancer. That's the entire point. All these smart meters and what have you. That is the point. They are. I don't know if you've been watching the news.
No, I've refused to watch the news for at least 10 years now. Go ahead.
I don't watch the news either, but sometimes stuff gets at me and it's unavoidable. And it's like, yeah, okay, I've been talking about this for years, but it's really messed up when mainstream media catches up to what's going on. They're covering these fires, California, but we've been talking about this on the ground in independent media about the directed energy weapons that they're using. They're literally just slicing out parts of neighborhoods, just burning away like laser surgery.
Mm-hmm. And you don't really have to be an idiot to see that either. Okay, I'm just going to tell you that. There's a point where you have to shove the cognitive dissonance into the hole and say, no more of this crap. Yeah, you have to deal with it. You have to. At some point, I'm sorry, but I cannot believe that people can turn away this much. As much as they have done in the last, I'd say 5 years now, I have seen total disavowalment of everything that's going on in their existence. This is why virtual reality is such a big appeal, because it allows them to discard what's really going on and get into what I want to make it, which is all wonderful, except that, hey guys, it's not real. Okay, so yes, you can go that way if you'd like, but folks, you can't. The problems. I learned this as a little kid. You can't run from your problems. You have to solve them. You have to. Oh, and then here's the other half of the coin when they go, well, what's the solution then? What do you think is going to work instead? And I'm like, you know what? That kind of question right there is an unfair question, because number one, it would take my whole life to fix this country's problems. I would have to start at 5 and work until I was 70, and then I'd have to have another lifetime so that I can test that theory out. Okay, so that's really a stupid question to ask somebody. Well, what do you propose instead? How about we just get rid of the problem to start with? Let's go there, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do instead. Okay, how stupid do you have to be? Get rid of the issue first. Let's not even talk about what we're going to do instead, because we need to get the problem out first. Then we can talk about what we can do to replace it, what we can do better. Come on, guys.
And something, people need to look at this from all angles. When you want to talk conspiracy, and again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, I'm a conspiracy expert. Okay, you got to look at this from all angles. They want to sell this 5G by saying they're going to give us faster internet. And what is the government doing now that is horrendous? Censoring the internet. Why do I want a faster, censored internet?
Guys, Look. Okay. Now you're talking about censoring the internet, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I thought for a minute there, I thought you were talking about the selling point of 5G, that it's going to be faster internet, because that's a big joke too.
Oh, no, well,
And
no, it's both.
and a massive lie.
Well, no, it's both. What I'm saying is their selling point for the 5G.
The only selling point.
The only selling point of 5G is that it's going to be faster. The internet's going to be faster. But the government and these corporations are having the internet censored like hell, more and more every day. Why do I want a faster censored internet?
Censored internet. Yeah, okay, there you go. Now, I will address both of those questions. Number one, the funny part about the faster internet is that most of us won't notice a difference. It's junk. It's junk to us because they didn't make it with us and our browsing speeds in mind. That was not the point of 5G. 5G is all about machines. It's all about things. It doesn't have a darn thing to do with you being able to download an entire movie in 1 second, okay? And really, how many people download movies every day? I'm sorry, I don't do it that often, okay? I'm just gonna tell you that you can justify the upgrade all you want to. Oh, and here's another point that I've just recently thought up in my head. They say that we're running out of spectrum and that it's just getting too crowded, and they need more spectrum so that they can have unlimited internet. Oh, well, that would be great. Except, why are we opening up then the entire rest of the frequency? Okay, why don't we just open up another 30 gigahertz, say, in another area, and then we can test those for a while and see how those work out. And if they work out okay, then we should be okay. But why are you going to go from 30 gigahertz spectrum range to the entire spectrum? Come on, from 30 to 300, and you're going to auction this stuff off to the companies that are just going to say, oh, hell yeah, we've got a free day pass. We're going out, we're going to install the whole damn thing, and you're never going to know about it. There's the other thing that bothers me. How in the heck can they do this without people even knowing what it is yet? One. Two, how can they do it without their consent? It's a utility pole and it belongs to the utility company, but it's on my property. So I'm sorry, but you're going to have to give me a little more information before you put that thing up in front of my yard. And oh, and here's the other one I like. A lot of city councils, I've seen a lot of city councils that have been brought this up to, and you know what they say? They go, oh, well, it's federal law. There's an act of Congress that's backing this up. First of all, since when did we ever need an act of Congress to back up a cell phone installation? That one made me nervous all right by itself, okay? And then you want to call it the beast system just to make it even worse. And then, okay, so then, the beast system. Oh, that sounds pleasant. Bring that on. So, and the other thing is, you know, if it was federal law that I go out and murder one of my neighbors every day, would you still sit up there and go, oh, it's federal law, there's nothing we can do? Come on. Get real. There's a point where you have to tell government to shove it and shove off. And I just can't imagine what's going through people's heads when they hear this stuff. I'm sorry, you don't care? Is that what I just heard? Because I thought you were my city council person. I thought you cared about the city, and I thought you cared about me and my family and my loved ones. If you don't care, then you need to go. Simple as that. And if you haven't got enough cojones to stand up to federal government and say, I'm sorry, but this just ain't going to work for us, then there's something really wrong with you, and you need to go. Just my thought on the matter.
I have personal experience on this, and well, I had an apartment in Orville, a little town right underneath Paradise. It's burning right now. Maybe 5 miles away from Paradise. Little town called Orville. I had an apartment, and next door to my apartment was a storage facility unit. And on that property was a giant, the biggest tree tower I've ever seen in my life. I went next door and got the owner's attention. I asked him, I was like, is that tower yours? Who owns that tower? It's not my tower. Who owns it? I don't know. But it's on your property. It's your business. Oh, I don't know. I was given $5,000 and was told it had to be put in there by law. It's like, wow, they're gonna basically bribe people and tell us the law. How desperate.
Oh, and they made that very clear in Tom Wheeler's speech. I don't know if you've done any research on this man, but I want to tell you what, Tom Wheeler was probably one of the biggest crooks to ever head up the FCC. This man was Obama's right-hand man. Now, I'm sorry, but I am very, very much afraid of Mr. Obama. I was always afraid of that man. He had the charisma and he had the style to get people to like him. And he also turned right around and passed a law that said we can mentally screw with the people of America anytime I damn well feel like it. He passed an executive order that said this. Okay, guys, I put it on my blog. But anyway, my point being is they actually fixed the second election. By the way, I don't know if you ever knew that, but basically they used mind control to make people vote for Obama the second term because nobody liked him at that point. Everybody thought he was doing some crazy things that they didn't like, and they were going to vote him out, and they turned it around and got him an overwhelming vote for the second one. And it wasn't because people liked him, as matter of fact, a lot of people were like, wow, how in the hell did he get back in there? Oh, wait a minute, I voted for him, didn't I? But they were messing with you. They sent out voting records of yours to other people in your neighborhood so that they could see how you voted in the last 2 or 3 elections, and that spurred you to change your vote, because now it makes a difference that other people know how you voted, and now you're going to try and go with the majority, and you're going to change your vote. So, you know, and this was the kind of stuff that they used in that 2012 election. They actually, or 2000, was it 2008? Or was it 2012? 2012 was the re-election, right? Yeah, 2012 was the re-election. But anyway, Tom Wheeler.
Hold up. You talk about this Wheeler guy being his right-hand man. I thought Michelle Obama was his right-hand man.
I like this guy. I'm gonna keep you right there, man. You're all right. Now, I'm just gonna tell you that Tom Wheeler was the head lobbyist for the 2 biggest telecom companies in the country before he got the job of the FCC chairman. Now, guys, I'm sorry, but this to me already makes him a piece of dirt. Okay, he was a lobbyist. He's a senator head giver. This is basically what he does for a living. And of course, they're going to pick a guy like this to sell 5G to the neighborhood. And the man stood up in front of America and said, well, we're not going to wait around for the standards and the regulations. Turning innovators loose is far preferable to expecting committees and regulators. And I'm like, are you insane? And how can you listen to this and think this man is on the level? He's not. He doesn't care about anything. All he cares about is the money they paid him to do this job. And he did it well. He did it well. He got a lot of people going on it. And they tightened shot clocks, and they paid off governments, and they did all kinds of things that they were supposed to do. And they got the job done. Oh, my God, they dazzled the hell out of these city councils, because not a single one of them has crumbled in front of the public yet. But I'm going to tell you this, that before this new month is out, December, before the year is gone, that stuff will be on its way out of Sioux Falls. I don't care what it takes. I don't care what I have to do. Am I going to be a member of this country anymore? Probably not within the year. But I'm going to also tell you that I still care about people. I still care about humanity. Okay? I want to save the world all by myself. If I have to, I will. Okay? But here's the problem. Kicking people in the shins just ain't working. I think I'm going to have to go for the chest. next, because the shins ain't working no more. I've tried the shins. I've tried stomping on their foot. I've tried setting their hair on fire. None of that stuff is working anymore.
You gotta go straight for the dome piece.
I guess so, man. Jeez, these people are just walking around in a daze going, oh, everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be wonderful. I get physically ill when I see, when I handed out 1,500 packets about 5G, you know what the best response I got to that was? Interesting. I'm like, interesting? How about terrifying? Interesting was the best I ever got. And I was like, you're going to call my stuff interesting? This problem, you're going to call it interesting? Oh, my Lord. What is wrong with this country? I have a friend, believe it or not, who has a brother in the CIA. And he will not talk about anything CIA related, will not even breach the subject. But he says, I got one piece of advice for you. Stop watching television. My television was out of the living room in less than 5 minutes. I got rid of that sucker and I've never turned it on again. Yeah. Television has been gone for a long time.
Television has been gone for the last, I want to say, 12, 15 years of my life.
I say about 7 for mine.
Yeah, my father always called it the idiot box, and no, I
exactly what it is.
I understand.
And I'm sorry, but the programming has gotten so ridiculous now. I don't even want to look at it, let alone watch it. So it's just, an episode of Family Guy here, a little bit of Cleveland there, but other than that, I don't even want to watch. I don't even want to look at it because every show I know is going to make me mad, and I'm going to have to really get pissed off at and throw the shoe. But I did an entire article on Cops, the show, one time. That's the single longest running reality show that's ever been on TV ever. And guess who's in second place? Jerry Springer. And I'm like, what? 25 years of the dumbest show that has ever been on TV. This is what America has come to, and that's where we went wrong.
Well, and see, that shows you the mind control. That's the conditioning. Cops, it's the conditioning. Police, stay here. We're just going to slide it right up through here. Let's see if anybody notices.
And if a logical person would sit there and go, yeah, okay, so the guy's a criminal, so he's acting criminally, but you're violating the hell out of his rights. And they do it on an everyday, every minute basis. And people don't see it anymore because the rights are gone. People just don't even know what their rights are anymore. You ask somebody when the Civil War was, and they can't get it right within a decade. I mean, your rights are probably going to be the last thing that you're going to know. And it's people like me and people that know our rights and the people that have been through the court system. We know what we've had to deal with, and we've been there, and we've been there almost every damn day. We know what our rights are because we looked into it and we searched it. And, one of the things that makes me mad about court is they always love to use that, oh, well, ignorance of the law is no excuse. And I said, well, I'm going to tell you that you're wrong, pal, because unless you give me the money to drive all over the country to research every single law book in this country and then send me a digest every week that tells me about 1,000 laws that you pass every day, and that you don't even know what the law is half the time, then I definitely can say that ignorance of the law is an excuse that I can afford to use. And if you want to tell me any different, then you better send me to law school, because I ain't doing it myself, just so I can keep up with you. All right. My point being is that people just don't know that when a cop comes up to your window and says, hey, do you know how fast you were going? You don't just go, oh, I was doing about 55. Give me a ticket, will you? I mean, this is not how our system works. Okay. You don't have to show them a license. You don't have to show them registration. You don't have to show them insurance. You don't have to do any of that stuff. That's all illegal search and seizure. And when you are giving it to them, you are waiving your Fourth Amendment right and saying, here, just take me to jail now, will you please? And people just don't understand that. And we've been bamboozled into believing that we have to do everything authority says or we're going to get screwed. Well, we're going to get screwed if we do listen to everything we say, okay? We're going to get screwed then. The screw part goes back on them when you protect your rights, you defend your rights, you know your rights. Those are the only three things that should ever come out of your mouth when a cop stops you on the road. No license, no registration. What if your license just expired yesterday? Okay, when you give it to him, you're basically saying, here's the evidence you need to write me a ticket. Just do it now. Just do it now. And people just don't get that. You know, they cannot just open your door and drag you out of the car. That's an illegal search and seizure. Can't be done. These people in California that the cops will take you and put you on the ground. If they suspect you have some kind of drugs in your system, they will put you on the ground and take a needle and draw your blood out. You don't understand the constitutionality of that. Just reeks of unconstitutional. Okay, it's not even their right to do anything even close to this. And all you got to know is the Fourth Amendment. That's an illegal search and seizure. You are basically forcing me to give you my bodily fluids. These are my bodily fluids. You are taking them from me wrongfully. And if I took that to court, I would win in a hot flat in the Supreme Court. Hot flat with not even a half a blink. All you got to do is stand up, open your mouth, and say, this is unconstitutional. I want you to prove that you can do this. They can't. But they're doing it because you won't say nothing.
Okay.
You don't say nothing.
Okay. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Ever been followed home at night by a bright star? UAV drone. Have you ever felt like you are being watched? Energy spectrum surveillance. Have you ever heard a buzz in your brain and ringing in your ear? Satellite EEG brain entrainment. Have you ever felt like someone is reading your thoughts? Remote neural monitoring. Have you ever heard voices in your head that were not your own? Voice to skull. Have you ever heard these voices repeat themselves unending? Synthetic audio harassment. Known someone driven mad by the voices till they killed people? CIA, NSA on shelf shooters. We are just people. We are brothers and sisters, fathers and mothers. We are young and old alike. We come from every walk of life and every corner of the world. We are just people. Yet, through all of our diversity, we have found common ground. We stand united as one and divided by zero. The Red Pill Hardcore exposes the truth with the answers.
And yes, we are back from commercial break. I still have her Livingman with us. And I would get back on the subject here, 5G.
Oh, darn.
And well, again, we must talk about more of the implications. And when it comes to these things, you have to think about the psychological operations that go with it. Do any of these politicians that are just been rolled over, that are just taking the money or just being scared, do they understand that in the future, okay, none of these people are going to be bribed anymore. You know what the government's going to do? Oh, this politician doesn't want to play ball? Okay, let's nuke his baby that isn't born yet, this 5G, and start tailor-making them so it comes out as a invalid. And, okay, he's going to have to pay special attention to this child, he's going to have to spend a lot of money on care, and it's going to cripple his career. And, you know, and it's not just politicians, that could be anybody. If you're a whistleblower or something like that, okay, we'll just tailor-make your kid. I mean, there are so many applications for this stuff. I mean, what are some that we should be wary of and see this as a sign? So when people look back at this moment, look back at the show, and they can say, hey, they knew what they were talking about. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Was I supposed to respond there with something? Let me see. You know, one thing I've noticed, well, I don't know if you knew this, but I'm a diehard Carlin high priest. Okay, I love George Carlin. I thought he was way before his time. The man had all the answers to life, and all we had to do was listen and laugh while we were at it. And the man was just a god to me. I swore I would be the first priest of Carlinism when he died. But anyway, my point being is that conspiracy theorists, and I got to go back to that term because you used it. I wrote an entire article about those, and I got to say that conspiracy theorists are quite simply truths that have not been proved to the general populace. That is all they are. Okay, just like regular theories, conspiracy theories are no different. They're just done by different people. So, yeah, oftentimes uneducated people, but neither here nor there. Conspiracy theorists have seen through the bull. Okay, and we know what's going on. We've been kicked out of our system. We no longer have the little hooks up to the back and everything, and we're not sitting in a bunch of fluid just producing energy. So Hollywood is just really scary with that stuff because they're so dead on. Anyway, the point being is that people are going to know when. The sad thing is that America waits until people start dying, and then they go, "Oops, what did we do wrong?" And then they want to take it down. Then they want to take it out. Oh my God, we better backpedal fast. Oh, well, isn't that great? Now, what about all the money you're going to lose on all those lawsuits because you just let it happen? I keep telling, I thought about real seriously. I thought about after fighting with the mayor about this for a few weeks, I thought that it would be a kind of a cool idea to come back at him and go, okay, here's where we are. I'm making you look like the worst mayor of Sioux Falls, okay, at this point in time. You have purposefully pushed to get something put in here that's going to kill everyone, okay, essentially. I mean, let's just strip it down to the bare bones. You're gonna kill people by putting this in, okay? Now you're starting to see that maybe this wasn't such a great idea, okay? But you're going to keep fighting with me because you have to stand your ground, and you have to be a leader. You have to be the city council mayor, and blah blah blah. And I got another alternative for you. Why don't you either go down in history as the worst mayor that put us all in the biggest danger we've ever been in, or option B, I'll help you save the city. And you can be submitted into politics for the rest of your life. Turn to my side, get rid of this stuff, save everyone's life, and be a hero. How about that one? Why don't we go that way? That may, at that time, look a lot better to him because I'm going to rail him the next three times I'm at the city council. He is not going to like me very much when I get done. But the point.
Hold on. Hey, start now. What's his name? What city?
Oh, Paul Tenhaken. He is from, as a matter of fact, he is from Worthington, Minnesota, because I just so happen to know somebody in Worthington, Minnesota, and they know him, and they know his whole family. And by the way, I made that, I was actually kind of excited that I knew somebody that he knew, and I wrote him and I told him that, and he took it wrong. He told a police detective and got scared because I knew where he was from, and I knew somebody that knew his family. I think that made a hair or two raise on the back of his head. But the detective was real nice about it. He was a real swell guy about it. But so anyway, my point being is that there are always going to be people that are leading the way on information. There are going to be people that are going to know more than everyone else, and they're going to know things long before they happen. And the problem with 5G here is that by the time the rest of America wakes up to what's really going on, it's going to be too late. It's going to be in, it's going to be on, and then what's going to happen? You know, I mean, we may not be able to mentally fight against it at that point. We may be done for at that point. We may either be dead, or we may be all mind controlled or government controlled. And then it's going to be too late, folks. So I say, swallow your pride, Mr. Ten Aiken. Swallow your pride. You admit that you made a wrong decision, and let's get the hell out of here and save some people's lives.
Now,
okay?
What city?
Sioux Falls, South Dakota. About 150,000 people. Not a big dent, but it's a good start. And they have there's a senator, by the way, that's involved in trying to get this put into South Dakota faster than any other state. Senator Thune is his name, and he's been pushing like hell to get this put in. So this, I believe, is why the mayor is so dead set on getting this in, because the senator is behind him going, hey, we need to get rolling on this. Get this in, you know, and here's why, you know, or maybe he doesn't even know why. And I'm guessing that he doesn't. I'm guessing he doesn't know the real agenda. But if he did, he wouldn't let it in. So I'm thinking that he's either been bought off, or that Senator Thune's pushing him, or both. And unfortunately, I believe both at this point, because nobody could be this stupid to look at everything I present and go, oh, yeah, that's okay. We can put that in. And, you know, you just can't. It's microwaves, guys. It's microwaves. I don't care what you call them. You can call them millimeter waves. You can call them EMFs. You can call them whatever fancy little name you want to. But that is how they confuse you. This is how they get you off track of what it really is. And we all know, well, at least you and I know, that it's microwaves, and we're going to continue to put that out. Sorry, guys, microwaves. Hello. So let's get it. You know, let's get the word out. And you're doing a very good job. I actually have a site for you, and I'll give it to you after the show. It's a site in England where they're completely just trying to rip this out of England, literally. I mean, they put up street lights in London that all have this 5G antenna on it, and they put this in front of everyone's homes, and they are just birds are dropping out of the sky, people are having stillbirths. I mean, all kinds of crazy things are happening, and this guy is standing out there with a 6-block long sign going, take this crap out of here. This is death. This is depopulation, whatever the heck it is. And I've got my little sign that I've taken out, and I've actually stood in front of a couple of Verizon stores because I know they're the ones that are pushing the hardest to get it in. AT&T is the other one. These two companies, I don't know what in the world they're teaching their technicians. I cannot believe. I mean, I've seen articles about firefighters that have these towers go up next to them, and they are completely disoriented. They don't know what they're doing anymore. They don't know what day it is. The bell rings. They go eat dinner. You know, I mean, this is the kind of things they're experiencing. And they basically went to the council and said, "You better get that thing out of my area and get it away from me. And you cannot put anything within so many radius." And I mean, they were really pissed off that they took their lives like that and just put them in a blender and said, let's see what happens when we press the blend switch. I mean, it's not hard to figure out, guys, that people are going to notice this, that it's going to be a major, major shift in their environment. They're going to notice it immediately. EMF sensitive people, if what you experienced with 4G is going to be a run in the park compared to this. This is going to make it so that you cannot leave the house, and you're going to have to put a layer of aluminum into the board work. I mean, this, and they're never going to be able to go anywhere again. They're going to have somebody have somebody deliver their groceries. I mean, this is going to be really bad stuff for EMF sensitive people, and that really, wow, a lot of them can't function now, you know, for 4G. And I can just imagine what this is going to do to them. It's probably going to kill them instantly. I wouldn't doubt that. But here's the thing that's probably the biggest danger of all of this, and that is that everything that's related to oxygen is going to be at risk here. We're talking about trees, plants, These things produce oxygen, okay? They're going to be launching 2,000 to 12,000 satellites into the air, and these are going to be short-span satellites, and they're going to have to do relaunches almost every day to keep up, okay? All that black carbon and greenhouse gas is going to get rid of whatever's left of the ozone layer, if there is actually an ozone layer, okay? And then I'm going to tell you that we actually had this problem a couple of decades ago, and we actually addressed this worldwide and said we got to slow down the destruction of the ozone, and that they were saying things like, well, all our spray cans, all the aerosol is affecting it, and then they turn around and take planes and spray aerosol into the clouds, and I'm like, are you people idiots? And that. And the fact that all the trees are going to be dead, all the plants are going to be dead. Let's not even talk about the fact that the 60 gigahertz band that screws up your water molecules, causes you to stop binding to oxygen. I mean, what's it going to take for people to wake up? What are you going to realize? Hello, we need oxygen. And this is going to destroy oxygen, period. All the way around the board.
Well,
I weep for humanity. I weep for humanity. I really do, every day.
I'm right.
More than you realize.
I'm right there with you. I mean, I started this show for target individuals, and this is a part of the whole technology and everything that's going on, why people are targeted. People are targeted for various different means, and you know, I've created so much media for target individuals, and it's just you know, just not rallying enough and that sort of thing. So you're actually going to be one of my last guests for this particular show. So
really,
I'm pretty much done trying to help target individuals because, like I said, the media I have out displays enough information for anyone, any target individual to take my media, take it to a scientist, take it to a politician, you know, and get the buzz going. If every target individual in America took my media and went to their universities, went to these professors, that professor, these teachers, that, we'd have the problem getting knocked out. But, you know, as you know, the call has been made online. Hey, guys, contact your politician, scientist. Oh, hey, you might want to contact this host. She knows these experts. No. You need to do it.
Yeah, thank you.
We've already done it.
Now, son, you have just entered my realm now. I was a show MC for my own show for 3 years, and all I did was put people that have been abused by the system, the worst horror stories you could ever imagine, all on my show. And I did that for a good reason, and I'm glad I did that for that reason. Exposure is key. Exposure is always key. Education, information, and exposure. Okay, those are the 3 things that you've got to do at all times if you ever want to win. You have to keep exposing them because that is the only way you're going to destroy them. That is what they fear the most, is exposure. Okay, once we figure out who's behind it, they're done for. Okay, but they know that they're over the hump. They're reaching the end. They're getting to the point where now they could take a weapon and they could control the entire country with it. I'm sorry, folks, but you let this go in and we're done. We're done. There is no going back. There's a guy that's already said, oh, it's easier to kill 1 million people than it is to control 1 million people. I think that pretty much tells us where these people want to go. Okay? We know where they want to go with this. They want to start over. They want to start over, and let's do it again because this is fun and we have more money than we could ever spend in 15 lifetimes now. So let's just do something that's exciting, like get rid of the entire world and start all over again. And that's exactly what they have planned. Make no mistake, history is being rewritten already, I guarantee it. And the history that we have now is being demolished. People, soldier groups are going into strange countries that they've never been to. and they're being told to go to museums and grab everything out of it, destroy everything. They don't even want anything resold. They said, do not take it home, do not resell it, destroy it. That tells me a lot. That tells me a lot. They don't want to keep anything that belonged to what it was before. And it only takes a generation and a half, folks, to rewrite history in somebody's head. Okay? All they need is one dying off and one coming in, and they can change everything. So if we kill off everybody, give them this story about how we blew each other up, and then we just start all over again with 30,000 slaves that have all been ripped apart from their families, that have been sitting in front of a slave box being programmed, and they have no idea what love is. They've never gone out and actually experienced it. They've been torn away from their social networks, and they are now depend on the phone for everything. These people are going to be totally, absolutely, utterly defeated before the war even starts, okay? All you got to do is turn out the lights, and these people are going to not know what to do next. They're going to be looking to people like me for that, if I survive. So basically, it's a crapshoot. You don't know where the world's going to go. I'm going to tell you that there's already one civilization that's at the bottom of the ocean. I'm sure they don't have any problem putting another one right on top of it. Okay? We're next, all right? They're going to start all over again if they're allowed to. I really don't know exactly what to believe anymore. I'm going to tell you, it would be more than pretentious of me to put my finger on any one religion and say, you're going to hell, you're going to heaven, you're right, they're wrong. It's impossible. I think that all of the religions of the world are right. They just have parts of the pieces of the puzzle, and none of us have all of it. I think that the truth has been actually ripped out of whatever books there are out there that go into the history of any of these people. I believe that we're left with, what will work for them. I love it when ministers come at you with this. It says in the Bible here that you're supposed to obey authority because God gave them that authority. And I sit there and I go, so do you believe that they actually were referring to Hitler or Mussolini or maybe Omar Gaddafi when he said that? He said that no matter what, you're going to obey authority. I don't think God ever said that. Hello. I think man stuck that in one of the many translations he went into. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, I don't know. I know who's going to hell because I'm going to be dragging a lot of people there personally myself. But I want to have you, you said you were going to give me a site. I want you to get it on the show of this man trying to get his 5G removed with the big sign.
Hawaii did it best. Hawaii did it best, by the way. You know what Hawaii did? They said, sure, you can come on in, put all the towers up you want. First person that goes to the hospital over it, you're paying for it. You know how many towers they put up in Hawaii? Pretty much none. We can all do that, folks. We can all do that. That's a beautiful solution. You're going to be personally liable if anything happens, and we can link it back to you. Guarantee they won't be installing it in your state. This is easy. Anyway, I still have a city council meeting to go to tonight, too. Hang on just 1 second.
Well,
7 o'clock. Oh, it's going to be a while.
Talking about this, and hopefully that'll scare them a little bit.
Hey, believe it or not, I'm actually perfectly fine with the exposure I've been getting so far because last time they had like 20 students there from St. Augustine, which is one of the biggest colleges in this town, and I gave them one copy, and they were like, "Hey, could we have a few more of these?" And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. And here you go. I handed out a bunch of them. I told the mayor about that, too. I don't think he liked it. Hot diggity W. Okay, it's called S-MOM. So S as in Sam, Mom, B, Mombi, Mombigate. S-Mombigate. Okay, and that would be SMOMBIEGATE.org. You go there and you will find stuff to blow you away. Yeah, I mean, it'll just blow you away. there's like they got 5G and smart meter videos. They've got a whole section for 5G and children. They've got 5G street lights. But evidently they're trying to get some film together about all this. But anyway, this guy went to jail. They put him in jail for talking about 5G. And it says 5G is not safe. www.5gappeal.eu and /. And the court granted them the win. They gave them the win. They let the guy go. But they were basically trying to gag him about talking about 5G. So if that doesn't tell you something's wrong, nothing does, you know. If they're trying to gag you, you know you're doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
You're on the right track.
Absolutely. Well, Christopher, Bruce, the Living Man, I want to
Yeah.
thank you for being on the show.
I'm hard to contain. What can I say? Many have tried.
Well, and for my audience, please get a hold of the Living Man here and support him because he's supporting you. You know, do your part. Do your part. Nobody's asking you to be a superhero. We are overdoing it ourselves. We just want you to do your part.
Well, and people like to say, you know, what can I do? I'm only one person. Well, this is programmed sheep behavior, folks. You got to stand up. I got the news out to you. So now do your part. Take that news and give it to someone else.
Yeah, so there you have it. I really hope you guys like this special feature. This was an amazing interview. I had lots of fun. And we're going to have lots and lots more interviews. I'm expanding to as many places as I can get the word out. I'll be soon on the Republic Broadcast Network. Yeah, back to radio, as well as doing more shows for the TV audience. There's nothing better than the internet right now as far as watching TV. And you don't need to watch these CNN, Fox News, all. You want the real news? Keep it on my channel, okay? Family Case Files is it's going off. We've got new shows like we got some ufology shows. We've got some video gaming shows. We've got some different rights shows. Red Power. I mean, we got a lot of stuff coming. If you like Black Panthers, you like women's rights, this is going to be where you want to stay, right here with us, Truthtainment TV Network. So with that said, I'm your host V. This has been another episode of the Red Pill Hardcore TV show, and catch me next time.